It was 4:50 in the morning when I woke up to pre-order the Apple Vision Pro. My power was out from a historic ice and windstorm that was ravaging the area. With no Wi-Fi to connect to, I stood with my phone raised next to a window, desperately searching for a signal in the Bermuda Triangle of cell phone towers where my home resides. 1 bar of LTE. It was all I had. Using a MacBook to illuminate my face and perform the required face scan, I did it. Order placed. Excitement ensued. Hey, what's up guys? Bo HD here, and I cannot think of a piece of technology I've been more excited to get my hands on than the Apple Vision Pro. I watched every review and listened to seemingly every podcast about this device leading up to its public launch. The picture I built in my head was that this is the most advanced wearable computer ever built, and despite its lack of apps and bugs, it offered a taste of the future of computing. Instead, what I got was a polarizing experience that left me questioning the future we were led to believe was inevitable. I'm not going to saturate this video with technical specifications of this headset because that's already out there for you to geek out over if you care to do so. And if UPS hadn't lost my package, I probably would have already gone over that in a separate video, but that's neither here nor there. No, I'm going to share with you my honest thoughts of the Apple Vision Pro, having used it daily for the past 2 weeks. And fair warning, this review will be triggering for some of you. If you were like me prior to actually owning this headset, a review that dared to criticize or question the headset or Apple's direction would have caused me to go on the defensive and even possibly click away. But now I can relate to a lot of what those early first reviewers were saying and the issues that they reported. So let me begin by talking about the design of the Apple Vision Pro. First of all, the design and the build quality is truly incredible. Everything from the laminated glass front, that's actually plastic, thanks to Jerry Rig Everything for confirming that, that flows into the aluminum frame, to the plush solo knit band that provides comfort and elegance. If you take a look at the teardown video of this headset, you will be amazed with how Apple managed to pack 23 sensors in here, including a dozen cameras and 6 microphones, 3 displays if you include the external OLED panel, Dolby Atmos speakers, an M2 chip, and R1 coprocessor. It's packed to the gills with tech, which makes the geek in me very happy. When it comes to actually using the Vision Pro, you do have to be careful with how you pick it up because the light seal magnetically attaches to the headset and can pop off quite easily. This is something that happened every time I gave it to someone to demo unless I warned them ahead of time. You'll want to hold it by the aluminum frame and try to avoid touching the laminated glass because it can be a smudge magnet. However, Apple does include a pretty nice cleaning cloth with your $3,500 purchase. The most impressive thing about the Vision Pro aren't the displays, although they are very, very good, and I'll talk more about them in a moment. It's the hand and the eye tracking paired with the fluidity of Vision Pro's software navigation and scrolling. I have never experienced anything like it. I can look at a link, tap my fingers together, and it just registers it like a click of a mouse. It's so cool and incredibly intuitive. There were times where I would just lay in bed after a long day and just drag windows or virtual items around my room, moving them closer and further away just because it was so unusually cool and satisfying. The eye tracking does start to have issues with web pages with small text links like on Hacker News or slashdot.org. Shout out to Slashdot. But I can't really fault it because it does a great job overall and is probably the single feature that makes you think, wow, we are living in the future. And the hand tracking is really good too, although there were a little bit more quirks. If you try and use Vision Pro in a dark room, it'll just not work because the cameras aren't able to see your hands, which can be very frustrating. That said, if you do have some sort of TV backlighting or even maybe some candle light, it should be just enough to operate, but your results will vary. You'll probably have to tap several times before it actually registers links and whatnot because, again, it's harder for the cameras to see your fingers. The displays and the pass-through cameras are industry leading for a virtual reality headset. You can have a 100-inch virtual display of your Mac within inches from your eyes, and you won't see any pixels. It's bright, it's beautiful. The blacks are truly black, so when you're looking at the Cosmos and the Night Sky app, for example, everything just looks all the more immersive and impressive. But here's the thing, while you can get immersed in this headset, no matter how hard I try to forget about it or overlook it, it still feels like I'm looking through binoculars due to the limited field of view. In other words, there are thick black borders around everything you're seeing. I don't have the exact numbers on the Vision Pro's field of view, but I would say my 20/20 vision with contacts is cropped in at around 20%, which doesn't feel normal. It feels a little bit claustrophobic and, again, just unnatural. And it's like I'm looking through binoculars. It's the best way to describe it. Now, the pass-through technology that Apple has included with the Vision Pro, it works by piping a video feed of the outside world into the inner displays with only 12 milliseconds of latency. It's supposedly the best on the market for a VR headset, but I felt that, again, this was another feature that was a little bit over-exaggerated by reviewers for being so good. It's fine, maybe even good in great lighting conditions, but it gets quite noisy in low light. It's also tough to view a text message on your iPhone or navigate system settings on a Mac with pass-through. It's doable, but it will strain your eyes a little bit. All of these issues are magnified by the fact that this device is strapped to your head like a rubber band. Asterisk, unless you use the dual loop strap that does cut down on the weight and the compression a little bit. And I say that without feeling too much of the weight fatigue, which was another widely reported issue. I could see how that could be an issue for long periods of usage. For me, it was just the literal compression required to keep this on my face. After only about an hour or so of use, I would want to take it off, and I would have people coming up and saying that it looked like I just woke up from a nap. And it kind of felt that way too. I set out to buy the Vision Pro with the intent on keeping it and using it for productivity purposes, specifically to act as a display for my spec'd out Mac Studio. A portable 4K display that I could manipulate and move around my room? Sign me up. The issue is that I didn't find it very comfortable to work with this thing strapped to my head. It did make me actually a little bit more focused as I could tune out my surroundings, and content did look very good. But it just didn't help my productivity. I think for movies and TV shows, bigger is better when it comes to displays, but for editing or for gaming, there's a sweet spot of around, I would say, 32 inches, where any bigger, you find your eyes get tired for scanning content. And I don't know, I just really thought that this would replace my 4K ultra-wide monitor and in tandem help me justify the cost of this headset, because I wouldn't have to go out and buy a separate monitor or upgrade this monitor, which is several years old. Unfortunately, though, it didn't do that. Now, I would use it with my MacBook Pro, but I'm still rocking a model from 2017 that doesn't support macOS 14 Sonoma or later, which is required to work with Vision Pro. It's a bummer. What I thought I'd do instead was pair a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse to see if it could replace my MacBook, doing fairly simple tasks, mostly through Safari. The keyboard paired just fine with the Vision Pro, but the Vision Pro doesn't support Bluetooth mice. It apparently supports the Apple Magic Trackpad, but I didn't have one to test with, unfortunately. And so with no precise cursor, this experiment was kind of cut short and a bit of a failure, because while the eye tracking is good, it's not accurate enough to pinpoint the cursor exactly where I want it between words and individual characters of text. And since I'm a full-time editor, not being able to, cut through text to make edits makes my job very difficult. Okay, so what does Vision Pro do well? It's definitely with content consumption and experiences. There's tons of potential for gaming with this headset as more time is given for developers to actually make games for it. I'm really looking forward to an official Xbox Game Pass app. There's an app called Synth Riders, which is a pretty fun music rhythm game. You have Fruit Ninja, is also pretty fun once you get past the kind of frustrating loading times. Content consumption also has a ton of potential here. The immersive videos in Apple TV Plus are beautiful and full of detail. I loved watching the dinosaur video and looking at all the detail in the dinosaur's footprint left in the sand. Also, Avatar: Way of Water, definitely my #1 favorite piece of content to watch on Vision Pro. It's the way for the movie to be viewed, in my opinion, on Vision Pro. It looks so good. Capturing people's reactions watching that was really cool too. You got the 3D effects, and when combined with the built-in Dolby Atmos speakers, it offers an experience unlike any other. And there are various landscapes available natively as well as in-app, such as the Disney Movie Theater and Avengers Tower. Some of them didn't completely wow me because I've seen digital movie theaters back in like the Samsung Gear VR headset from 2015, and they aren't the most photorealistic, aside from the native landscapes Apple provides, which do look really photorealistic and beautiful. Third-party digital environments, they all kind of look like PS3 graphics. I will say the Apple landscapes of Mount Hood and Joshua Tree are some of my favorite, and being able to toggle the transparency level of the digital and physical world just by rotating the digital crown at the top here it's so good. It's really cool. And That, I think, is another one of those Apple touches that really helps this headset stand out from the competition. Another such feature are spatial photos and videos. These are 3D photos or 3D videos that you can easily capture by pressing the top button on the headset. I didn't expect to like these that much, but they are really cool and kind of emotional. I recorded a video of my family after giving them a demo of the Vision Pro after dinner, and it was kind of moving watching it back a few hours later. It felt like I was there, but I'm obviously not there. I can't tell if it feels like either I died and I'm viewing this memory at heaven's gates or something, or if the people in the video have passed away. It's strange, but it's beautiful. Apple's focus on capturing special memories is an aspect I wish the company focused more on at launch. Apple tries to make the Vision Pro less isolating via its pass-through feature. It also has the outer display that will very dimly show your eyes when you're in pass-through mode and obscure them when you're viewing virtual content, so others around you can kind of get a sense for when you're present or when you're in your own little world. But that's really the extent of it. Let's say you have a Vision Pro and you want to give it to someone to try out. Well, you pretty much have to use the guest mode or tell the person your passcode to unlock the headset every time you hand it over to them. But the guest mode has restricted features and doesn't provide a tutorial for users. So I had to try to verbally explain all the functions without being able to see what they're seeing. Now, Apple does have a screen mirroring feature built in that uses AirPlay, so you can see what they're seeing if you cast content to an AirPlay compatible device, unless they're viewing copyrighted content, which of course they're going to do, because Avatar and Encounter Dinosaurs offers the best demo of this tech. So all of this content will be blacked out for both of you guys due to digital rights management. So they'll have to stop the screen mirroring and restart the app. It's just a frustrating experience, to say the least. And that's just with sharing the headset. What about two Vision Pro users who want to watch a movie together in the same room, or play a game together, or share a similar app experience? There are no native features that I'm aware of that let you do this. So you and your friends with Vision Pro headsets will all be in your own little world, barely able to see or hear each other. Now, I don't watch a lot of TV shows or movies, but when I do, I like to do so with my friends and family or my roommates. And I can't do that with Vision Pro, and it's a little bit sad. My roommate came up to me while I was using the Vision Pro the other day, and he asked, "What are you doing in there?" And that question never left my mind. I had really high hopes for this device. I think there's a future where Vision Pro gets refined and is cheap enough where it develops a somewhat significant user base of, I would say, mostly gamers. But it makes me question the future of spatial computing, especially in relation to productivity and the enterprise market, until we're able to forget that we have a computer strapped to our heads. And until that computer is able to perform basic tasks that you can do with a laptop, I find it hard to imagine a world where we all have a Vision Pro. And if that world does exist, it's pretty far off. With Vision Pro, much of its success also stems from its ecosystem and its continuity features that it provides. To get the most out of a $3,500 Apple Vision Pro, you'll need a newer MacBook that, let's say, costs at least $1,000, and a new iPhone 15 Pro if you want to capture spatial videos and photos with something other than a face computer. That makes this already expensive device all the more expensive and out of reach for the large percentage of consumers. Now, Apple has a ton of money. They have a talented team of executives and engineers and tremendous influence on the industry. So I'm not going to completely write this product off. But even with all of that, the company has its work cut out for them if they envision a future with Vision Pro. With that said, I'm Bo HD from Slash.tv. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys have any comments, questions, concerns, let me know down below. I'll see you guys right back here in the next one. See ya.